Hey everybody, it's your old pal Jeff, Memorabilia Monday, and we are deep in the darkened lair, the Central Memorabilia Vault, somewhere near the Everglades in South Florida. And looky here, folks, I have two absolutely amazing things in my hands. I have a 1958 Gibson Les Paul. This one belonged to Mick Taylor of the Rolling Stones. Holy moly, it's a pretty big deal. This is a 1962 Fender Stratocaster. And this is an Eric Clapton piece. And the reason I have these two is because they are absolute archetypes of electric guitar. The Stratocaster, the Les Paul. Now there are other ones as well, but for today we're going to talk about these particular archetypes. If you've ever asked yourself, well gee, why did Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan play a Stratocaster, and why does Slash or Jimmy Page play a Les Paul? It has a lot more to do with it. There's a lot more to it than just looks. They are radically different sounding instruments, and they give the player radically different sorts of ideas and feedback and noise. So let's take a listen. I'm going to start with the Strat. Classic piece of Americana. This one built in 1962. First Strat came out around 54. And there are some differences between then and now, but it's largely unchanged. Leo Fender got it right the first time. So when you listen to a Stratocaster, it's a very focused kind of noise. But there's many options. What I'm doing here is running through all the pickup positions. It's a great, great guitar. Very unique, very identifiable sound. Let's hear it with some gain, which means we'll give it the rock kind of power. Just a great noise, and it is iconic and classic, and the folks who gravitate towards these instruments tend to be really expressive players, and the list of them is endless. Jeff Beck, obviously Stevie Ray, Buddy Holly played a Stratocaster. It's a very, very specific kind of noise. I happen to love it. This guitar is really great, and I am deeply aware that I am playing Eric Clapton's 62 Stratocaster, and I wish you were too, because it's a pretty neat experience. So let's switch gears, see what that Les Paul's all about. All right, the mighty Gibson Les Paul. Holy moly. This is a 1958 Les Paul. I've featured this guitar on Memorabilia Monday a couple times, and I put it in John Five's hands and Little Steven's hands. We've had some fun with this guitar. It's such an extraordinary instrument. Everybody wants to play it. Electric guitar nerds, such as myself, get all aflutter about it. Just a beautiful thing. 1958. Now, listen how different it sounds from the Strat. Listen to the sustain. You could go off and have a bite and you'd still be hearing that, right? just a glorious thing. It's a lot darker than the Stratocaster. It's a lot thicker and heavier. But it's still really sweet sounding. This is a great Les Paul, y'all. It really, really is. Now, much like the Stratocaster, you can get a few different sounds out of this guitar. Actually, infinite sounds, because you can mess with the knobs and get different balances, and it really makes a huge difference. But for our purposes, I'm just going to show what happens with these pickups. This is what we call the bridge pickup, and a lot of just like crank and rock and roll comes from that noise. This is a good guitar. Now this is both of these at the same time, which is the noise that I started with. It's mellower, it's sweeter, but then if you go to just this pickup, it gets a lot thicker, almost jazzy. Give it a little rock and roll action. Oh yeah. It's pretty classic Les Paul grind. And if you do it up in the neck position, it's really that singing. Going out of tune a little bit. It's got new strings on it and they're still kind of stretching out, but it's just, this thing is to die for. I don't know. I like them both. I'll take two, please. To a lot of people, when you just listen to them naked like this, the Les Paul maybe sounds better to you. Because it's warmer, it's thicker, but when you put it in a band context with other music and bass guitars and low end and kick drums and stuff, the Strat is really amazing because it leaves sonic space for those instruments to breathe a bit. And often a thinner, more focused noise in context will equal a bigger sound. It's a little counterintuitive, but it's often true. Me personally, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. They're both absolutely killer guitars. And it bears restating, I am not cavalier about playing them right now. I understand the gravity of having the privilege to actually show these things off. And I really wish everybody who is watching this could experience it as well. A thing of beauty. The 1962 Stratocaster, the 1958 Les Paul. Two great tastes that taste great together. Ooh, man, this was a fun one. I'm your old pal Jeff, Memorabilia Monday. See you next week. Dude, this is a Collings 290. They're just amazing, like boutique built guitars. I have to play this. It was the last guitar Prince played, so. Oh yeah, daddy.